Harry Potter, one of the most instantly recognisable franchises in history. Now I, like most of us, have very fond memories of Harry Potter. Growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, you just couldn't get away from it. Everything from books to movies to merchandise. And what a wonderful time it was. The first book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, being released in 1997, followed 4 years later by the first film adaptation, and subsequent video game tie-in by the same name, which oddly enough released one day before the first film actually hit the cinemas. The first game, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, also released under the name Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, was first developed by Argonaut Games for the PlayStation 1. The game first released in November 2001, and by May 2003 it had sold 8 million copies worldwide. 8 million copies. That makes Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone one of the highest selling video games of all time. The game released on 8 different platforms: Game Boy Color, Advanced, PlayStation 1, PC in 2001, followed by Mac in 2002, and then Xbox, PS2 and GameCube in 2003. And interestingly enough, every version was different. Okay, so for this video we're going to focus on the PlayStation 1 release, because that's the one that I played on repeat as a child, and the one that I have fond memories of, and the one that I think of first when I think of Harry Potter games of old. That being said, I will give an honorary mention to the 2003 GameCube release, because looking back, that game was honestly quite beautiful. Okay, so Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, PlayStation 1, 8 million copies in 3 years. And I'll be honest, after doing research for the video, because my rose-tinted spectacles are fully on my face, I'm quite surprised why. I'll be quite blunt. This game was not good, even for a 2001 release. It was not good. Terrible graphics, dull and clunky mechanics, awful voice acting, confined linear gameplay, which is strange because I remember the game feeling so much more open and explorable than it actually was. Essentially, the game had one very basic gameplay loop that involved running around and collecting yellow, blue, green and red beans. Collecting enough of one colour of these beans would allow you to unlock doors and then explore more of Hogwarts Castle. I know, right? Sounds way more boring than what you probably remember. Each new area that you unlocked would generally consist of simple jumping puzzles and linear pathways, with the occasional time trial objective sprinkled in there as well. Truly riveting stuff. Spellcasting, arguably the most important piece of gameplay in a video game that is set in the Wizarding world, was also absolutely terrible. Honestly, I looked up gameplay because I haven't played the game in about 20 years, and it is truly awful, even for a game from 2001. But you know, despite all of this, the game definitely has a charm to it, and I still have very fond memories of my time spent with it. Now I could arguably just ramble on aimlessly about Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone on PlayStation 1 for quite some time, but as this video is about the evolution of Harry Potter games, and by extension games set within the Wizarding world, we will swiftly move on. So following Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, between 2003 and 2023, we saw a great deal of further releases set within Harry Potter and, by extension, the Wizarding world. Now this list of games includes, but isn't limited to, Prisoner of Azkaban, Chamber of Secrets, Half-Blood Prince, Order of the Phoenix, Goblet of Fire, Deathly Hallows, Quidditch World Cup, and LEGO's take on the Harry Potter universe. And we all secretly love a LEGO game, you can't deny it. Okay, so fast forward 22 years to February 2003 and the release of Hogwarts Legacy. And yes, while I recognise that Hogwarts Legacy isn't a Harry Potter game, it exists in the same universe as Harry Potter, it just takes place a century before Harry Potter's story begins. Hogwarts Legacy is an action RPG that drops players directly into Hogwarts School for Witchcraft and Wizardry as new students starting in their 5th year. Now it almost goes without saying, but I think we can all agree, or most of us can agree, that an open world RPG set in the Wizarding World universe was long overdue. And for me personally, the game definitely proved to be one of my most anticipated games of all time. And I am very pleased to say that Avalanche Software created what I would call is close to a masterpiece of a game with Hogwarts Legacy. In my opinion, they successfully nailed the theming, the atmosphere, the sound design, and they captured the magic of the Harry Potter franchise. All of this resulting in a beautiful, sprawling open world for players to fully immerse themselves. Quality voice acting, beautiful graphics, close attention to detail, a ton of side quests and activities, a world that feels alive, vibrant and full of magic. And I was also very pleased to find that the combat system wasn't an afterthought. The spell and skill tree system mixed in with the parrying and dodge mechanics makes for really engaging, fun gameplay. It was just a relief to find that spell casting played a much bigger part in Hogwarts Legacy than spellcasting did in any of the previous games. Hogwarts Legacy being an RPG means that you get to choose which house you're affiliated with. Each house offers alternative story paths, which means that the game is in no way a controlled or linear experience. You are free to traverse the open world, explore. There's a million secrets to discover. I mean, the references and the attention detail really do deserve credit. Hogwarts Legacy really allows players to take ownership of their characters, even going down the same route as Knights of the Old Republic by enabling players to learn the unforgivable curses, including Avada Kedavra. And it being an RPG means there's plenty of cosmetic items so you can make your character look however you want, which is always fun, and the character creator is also pretty solid. And with the game really being a big success commercially, we can expect to see regular updates to the game and further improvements to the overall experience for players. And no, the game is not perfect. The story was kind of thin and full of holes, and I know that some people did experience some minor performance issues, but still, performance issues are never fun, whether they're minor or not. So no, the game is not perfect, but when we compare it to Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone that released on PlayStation 1 in 2001 to now, we can see the evolution of the franchise in the gaming space, and personally I'm very excited to see where they go with it next. And on the subject of where they go next, to finish off, Hogwarts Legacy 2 has officially been confirmed and is currently in development. Now, we know absolutely nothing about the sequel at this point, but I am hoping to see a continuation of the exceptional work that has been done with Hogwarts Legacy. I do hope that the developers listen to player feedback, because it is my opinion that with some tweaks and a stronger story, some additional activities and even more areas to explore, Hogwarts Legacy 2, or whatever they decide to call it, has the potential to be a true masterpiece within the open world RPG space. And with that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching, I do appreciate it. If you've enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing. Good night, sub, peace.